just take, like it's normal. In most cases, it's as a result, of being bullied in school. When a child is bullied in school, trust me, the child may come home transferring that aggression to his or her siblings. And that happened to me a lot. I used to be this person that used to beat my younger sister back then. Anytime I come back from school, I would any single thing. If you see me slapping her or beating her, and it had to, it was it took a lot of effort from my parents to actually correct me on that. And somebody started, a lot of people started telling my parents that, don't you know the kind of school that your child is attending? You don't know that students of that school, they are third green nature and all this, those symptoms of government school here. And trust me, it's just like that. That's how it's, even as adults, most of us transfer aggression. People that are innocent of what is happening to you, you begin to fight them. You begin to, react to them. Little thing that you're supposed to joke, smile or play with, you can actually snap up or even get angry at any slightest, thing. So this also happens to children also, when you begin to see a child, getting aggressive with his or her siblings or fighting them quite often, that might be as a sign of being bullied or being blackmailed. Don't forget, our topic is what are the signs, of a bully child or a blackmailed child in reference to this high generation. Another thing that you may begin to observe when a child is being bullied online, I've told us, I've mentioned it even in the course of this presentation, that does not stop there. It continues when this child is now faced with those people, perpetrating those online bullying. And trust me, this may actually lead to the child being beaten up. In most cases that I've actually heard and I've seen, it used to be like 6 against 1, 5 people beating just a child. And trust me, if that child is not lucky, the child may not even come out with bruise like you are seeing on the screen right now. It might be something worse. So unexpected bruise marks, when you begin to see it on your child, you should question as a parent. You should not be too busy to go to school to ask questions. What is this? What is actually what's happening? We should pay attention to it. Some of them, if this bruise actually happen where they can cover, you'll see a child, you want to touch the hand of your child is just snapping the hand away from you. You should be concerned as a parent to open that place up and check what is actually happening there, because your child, this one is actually showing, it happens on the face. What about the one that his uniform is covering and all that? Your child may begin to lock himself up in his room just because he doesn't want you to see all these bruises and scars. So we should, whenever we notice this, know that that child must be going through being bullied or being blackmailed, and we should question that. And as teachers also, we should be interested. It's not all cases among students. You just say, oh, that's how they play, and you just want to waive it. No, the child may actually be vulnerable. The child may be helpless, and we should actually be concerned. So the next important sign I have on this page, what happens when you begin to see your child returns home with missing or damaged belongings? Do you just beat the child, or do you just scold the child and believe that what is due to the child being careless, negligent, or anything? Most people, especially in this part of the world, Nigeria, most parents may actually tends to beat up the child or scold the child, thinking that should be due to the negligence of that child. But trust me, sometimes, when a child is being bullied and being blackmailed, you can begin to see the child losing things, not bringing those things home. Your bullies can They can seize your properties, they can collect your books, they can collect your feeding allowance, they can seize the child their food, okay? They can damage the child's property while beating the child up. And when you begin to, now let's actually focus on cyberbullying now. When you hear of cyberbullying, as these generational parents, having to attend to these generational children, the high generation, okay? Cyberbullying includes sending posting or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. And these children do it a lot. After the COVID-19, many schools and even many countries, they were not into online coaching and online teaching, online platform before. Everyone now, almost everyone, have set up online, studying for these children. And it happens in a group. And this actually leads the children to having even a group chat that maybe they want to share notes, they want to share content and everything. Do you actually bother what actually goes, down there as a school owner, as a teacher, or as parents? It is not just books or just academics that these students do there. There's a lot. And from there, any student can pick up, a number of fellow students and private chats. So online bullying, cyberbullying is real. Like the picture you are seeing in front of me, a child hearing you are fat. To you, it might actually sound childish, but trust me, if that child is truly fat, the child begins to actually go through some emotional damage. What if a child is being said to online, you are ugly, you are not even fine, or you upload a picture and they say that, oh, look at the way you look, you are a loser, you have no friends, no one likes you and all that. All these, can actually hurt a child. And it is not just about the physical one that happened during our own time, or a child being beaten up, that is actually bullying. All these, horrible words, horrible comments about a child is even worse than those physical ones that you think about. They are very, very damaging. So we may ask, like I've mentioned, where can a child be exposed to this cyberbullying, online bullying? Social media, we should be concerned. I heard the last speaker talking about parents being involved about the use of gadgets or digital technologies of these children. When they're not guided, when you don't guide them in the use of all these things, trust me, they will be open to things that they cannot even handle. And part of it is being bullied online. Social media can actually get your child influenced and being bullied. A child may be messaged through the school platforms by another student, gaming platforms and mobile phones, even through phone calls, voice notes, a child can actually be open to cyber bullying. And trust me, they actually repeated behaviors that are being aimed at scaring or angering or shaming those children that are actually the targets. So face-to-face bullying, like I mentioned earlier, and cyberbullying can often happen alongside each other. But one thing for sure you must pay attention to about cyberbullying is that cyberbullying actually leaves us a digital footprint, like a record that can be proved to be useful, to provide evidence to help stop the abuse. And I'm going to share like a few stories like that in the next few minutes. I think I should still have like 5 minutes. I'm going to share that with us. So let's look at the that can be tagged as a child being bullied. What happens when a child, a child, when fellow students or peers spread lies about a child online, spreading lies about or posting embarrassing pictures of the person, videos, or of someone on social media. I've seen a situation whereby some students came to school with their phone, and another student was sleeping. Perhaps when she was actually sleeping, she looks disgusting, maybe opening chat and say, see this fool and all that. And people started making comments, So how do you think that child will actually feel? That's going to be a very big embarrassment. What happens when, and they are still children. They cannot handle things like adults. Trust me, all of them will just take it. And most especially if virtually everybody in the class does not like that child personality in the class. So it becomes a very terrible thing for that child to handle. Sending hurtful, abusive, or threatening messages. Imagine, can also, hurt a student and be tagged as what? Cyberbullying. Impersonating someone and sending mean messages to others on their behalf. That's another thing. Somebody can impersonate a child and what? Act like the child. Now sending messages as if that child is the one responsible for it. Fake, using fake accounts and all that, or hacking the account of the child, using it to perpetrate evils. And that can actually be tagged as what? Bullying. Now, I may not mention all the signs that you will see, but trust me, I've highlighted few here that you can also take note of. When you see a child experiencing changes in sleep and eating patterns, trust me, don't just overlook it. That might be as a result of what? Being bullied as a child. When your child begins to complain to you that he's having nightmares do not actually just come. In most cases, they are just reflection of things that you have gone through in real life. So you should begin to question your child and know what your child is actually going through, either in school or even at home. When a child begins to have aggressive behavior, I talk about, towards siblings, it might be towards any other peer group, okay? You must begin to question. Don't just say, oh, that's how my child is. That would be a very wrong conclusion. Oh, I used to be like that when I was small. So that would be a wrong conclusion. That child may be going through what? Bullying and what? Perhaps blackmailing. When you see a child withdrawing from peers, a child actually going down or being so poor in social activities, don't just say he's a shy person, or you begin to say, oh, he's what do we call it? You say the child is an introvert. Don't just conclude like that. Okay, it's too early for you to conclude like that. You have to check and be really sure that what their child is not going through being bullied. Because trust me, if those peers are actually bullies to the child, you see the child withdrawing from them. Getting poor grades in school, it does not just happen. It can be as a child may begin to do so bad in school just because it's going through what? Bullying in school. If a child loves to be alone, it's so early for us to conclude that what? Oh, my child actually loves his or her space. It's so early for you to conclude like that. When your child, begins to, loves to be alone, just want to be by herself or by himself, trust me, that may be a sign that you are looking for, which can be as a result of what? Being cyberbullied or being bullied physically in school. Let's look at this story. I have a lot of, go online, you'll see a lot of things, horrible things that have happened for you to actually know that they are real. This is a case of Ashlyn Connor, and she happened to be a 10-year-old, who started experiencing being bullied when she was 10. So I'm going to just read because I have limited time. I really wish I can actually do a lot of analysis on it. So 10-year-old Ashlyn Connor was bullied so much that she begged her mom to homeschool her. So you can imagine she was begging her mom that the mom should homeschool her. She doesn't want to go to school again. She wanted an escape from the horrible children at school, but her mom refused. So as a mother, why won't you go to school? Why will you say you want to stay at home and study? Why am I paying your school fees for? What am I paying for? You have to go to school and all that. That's exactly what the mother of Ashlyn Connor is. Not a story I made up. It's right there online. So the bullying continued at home through social media. Ashley was called fat and ugly at first, and then it turned into people calling her a slut, even on social media. Long before she even understood the meaning of the word slut, they have started calling her slut. So when she had her hair cut because she wanted to feel good about herself, the name calling changed from being called a slut to pretty boy. So they started calling a girl a pretty boy. This isn't just a story of cyberbullying, but the ending. Ashlyn's sister was the one to find her hanging in her closet by a scarf. The horror and devastation that would have left her sister is immense. So the girl actually had to kill herself, and her corpse was actually discovered hanging by her sister. Another story is Megan Meyer, and it's also another horrible story, and it's a case of a child depression made worse because of cyberbullying. Megan had already taken antipsychotics and antidepressants. While they helped slightly, those drugs that she was taking, she still suffered from her mental illnesses. And a female neighbor set up a MySpace account and pretended to be a male to tease Megan. At first, Megan found herself attached to this Josh Evans, but he later turned on her and started discussing some rumors. So the child actually trusted and confided in this, this neighbor, this female neighbor, and along the line, the neighbor turned on this child and started discussing some rumors he had. Okay, at first it all started private, but then he started sharing their private messages, went public with a declaration that the world will be a better place without Megan. And what happened? Megan, already susceptible to depression, believed those comments that the world will be a better place without her. And what did she do? After telling him that you are the kind of boy a girl would kill herself over, she took her own life in her bedroom, and she took her own life when she was just 13. So you can imagine. The last one I'm sharing is Hailey Lambert. And what happened to her is another 13-year-old who took her life due to cyberbullying. She has suffered from epilepsy, and her class for being epilepsy. This in-school bullying continued through online platforms and forums. So they would often tell her that what she should kill herself. That's their comment to her. They used to advise her, talking to her, she should kill herself because of this condition she actually had. And what happened? At one point, a classmate left her a voice message saying, "I hope you died." And what happened to Ali? Ali couldn't take the bullying anymore, and she killed her. Take all these stories and hope that this doesn't happen to any children that we have in the class as teachers, or any of our children as parents, or any of the children that would believe we are role models too. And if you are believing that it doesn't happen to anybody, any child close to you, you still have to accept the fact that the high generational children are going through bullying, not just offline, but also online. And that should get you much more involved about their lifestyle online. You should pay attention to the signs. You should be interested about the site your child is actually entering. Sometimes you can also take the gadget and go through what is going on in their, their school platform and all that. Sometimes it's not bad for you to actually be with your child, be a friend to your child. Let your child be able to communicate to you. Have that good relationship and good rapport, so that when they are going through those things, you'll be the first person they will confide in. But trust me, when you are distant as a parent or as a teacher from, the life of a child of this generation, either online or offline, trust me, they take things to themselves. And most of these things they take to themselves, they cannot undo it. And the result you will have is depression. And this might actually graduate to losing such a child. So I appreciate you for staying in tune with me. I hope I did not take more than necessary time. And I want to say at this point, thank you for listening. And I hope we make good use of this presentation. Thank you very much. Over to you, Admi.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Fani. That was an awesome one. I really appreciate you for this. So we have I can see some persons that joined. Thank you for coming for today's program. By tomorrow again, we'll have like few more speakers for us to conclude our conference for this year. The conference being presented by Voice of the Teachers Initiative. So thank you everyone, and let's call it a day today. Good night.
All right. Bye. Thank you.